Hello, my name is Pierre Bombardier. I am an HVAC engineer at Ford QEI in France. My talk today is about particle waste suspension and particle tracking, which is very important in our domain, clean room design. As you can see on the screen, my company proposes a range of services for clean room owners for the design, construction, and monitoring of performance. We work in many industrial domains, research facilities, and hospital too. Our main domain of interest for CFD simulation are to optimize the efficiency for ventilation, to control the transfer of contaminants, and to guarantee safety and comfort for users. For this, we have used SA Stream with success for more than 10 years. Resuspension of particles is an important topic for us as it can change the concentration of particles transfers inside a clean environment like a clean room. Lift and drift force are what we call an aerolic forces that may overtake the adhesion forces, and gravity that maintain particles on surfaces. So surface quality and particle characteristics both have an influence on results. Particle shape, size, and density can change the way particles adhere to surfaces, and the surface roughness or hardness is an important parameter too. Issued from Cradle technical papers, here are some insights on methods used to reproduce particles behavior. You will first choose between a two fluid model, which is a statistical representation of particles, or a discrete particle model, where each particle is computed. For the latest, the model includes a viscoelastic model that describes the contact of particles. Then an algorithm deals with contact detection. Users can also choose the way temporal integration is made and the way the particle layer is defined. And finally, a coarse-grained technique is proposed to improve the computation efficiency. If you choose the DM method to simulate particle behavior, you will need to define the following parameters. Spring stiffness first, then the damping coefficient, which is an option, and then the parameters related to contact forces definition, which are friction coefficients, Young's modulus, and Poisson ratio. Finally, the Hamaker constant will define the intensity of van der Waals forces. Now, I propose to share some information we get from recent projects involving particle tracking in varied situations. The first one is about particle stressing in a double operating theater with a two fluid model type. The second is a particle dispersion and exposure study at a workstation. The third is a particles resuspension biogas stream, adding resuspension model to the two fluid model. And finally, resuspension simulation from a thick particle layer. Let's start by the first. So this first example is a double operating theater designed to improve surgery efficiency. It permits to share the staff between several patients, and you can find this type of facility up to 4 units in the same room. The clean air supply is located above the operating table, and the exhaust in red on the picture are located all around. So we can show different things in this type of facility. We can move a little bit the exhaust. We had several scenarios for the exhaust, and we made a choice. We compared the performance of the different solutions we had. So that's a qualitative approach to the dispersion of particles you will see later. the objective is to mitigate the cross-contamination you can have between the two halves of the volume. Comparison of supply air diffuser and exhaust position between scenario is really useful, and it can help you choose the right one. Air guidance and exhaust improvement are several things we need to test to make sure we have the best solution for the project. Operation in reduced or incident mode are several scenarios we studied to understand what would happen if there was an incident, or if we wanted to lower the airflow. You can also have some question about the position of furniture inside this type of room, because sometimes it can change the airflow around the table, the center table. So it's something that you will have a look to, and especially if some furnitures are more or less clean. And finally, you can use this type of simulation to train the people and train technicians, explain how the facility works. On this picture, you can see the airflow coming from the top of the room. This is a normal situation. Both sides are working properly. And you can understand that the flow goes from the top to the bottom and then is directed to the exhaust grid. You can see here two scenarios. The left unit doesn't change and is still in operation, but on the right, half ventilation is off. That's the top picture. Then we put the right half ventilation at 50% speed, called eco mode. The flow penetration from right to the left is scrutinized to estimate if those scenarios are acceptable. It is even more interesting if we define the contamination on the right part of the volume and observe the penetration on the left. This animation will show you a way to track particles that may travel inside the volume. We can choose the starting surfaces that are suspected to be dirty or contaminated. Starting points for particles are completely configurable with an option to place them randomly. So in the video, the particles are quite contained on the emission side. My next example is a room where toxic powders are handled, weighing, transfer, and packaging operation, basically. To avoid wearing individual protective system, we studied how the room ventilation could be improved to contain powders efficiently. You can see the model here. So the supply air system has been modified and tested through simulations. We managed to quantify the transfer rate between two contaminated locations and the respiratory volume around the head of the worker. This method has been used to compare several scenarios where air diffuser and flow rates were changed. The green ISO surface correspond to particles coming from the contaminated table, and the pink surface particles from the workstation. The ISO surface can be set accurately to estimate the contamination transfer rate to the respiratory tract. My third example today is about a 2 month development effort devoted to the implementation of a resuspension model inside SSStream. We used the well-recognized rock and roll model proposed by Rix and al. The particle rotation around the closest surface peak is identified as the main possibility of resuspension for a particle. A script has been developed to calculate the resuspension rate inside SSStream for the formulae of the rock and roll resuspension model. We started with a validation of a resuspension model. We compared the result to a published benchmark case, and then we built the model with a growing complexity of simulation, starting by the basic model. Then we moved to a simple test cell that has been compared with the experimental testing. And then we will use in the future a double test cell, and we expect to apply this type of model on real environment. You can see on the left the cycle of production. We used this resuspension model called rock and roll to produce a resuspension rate, which is used to calculate the particle release and settling back on surfaces, and then we give the data to the model back to update the surface contamination. The first SSStream model made for comparison has been defined as a simple enclosure, as you can see on the left, with a high-speed nitrogen flow sweeping a pre-contaminated surface. The clean surface are then contaminated by particles released from the surface, the source, and redeposited in different places where we can measure them. The places are depend on the size of particles, so we compare the deposit location for every size we tested. We tested 4 different sizes of particles. The next video will show you a transient calculation with flow setting at a rate of 70 liters per minute and particles migrating on surface. This resuspension law will then be used for a larger size model. So you can see the contamination on surfaces, and the contamination is spreading, is moving from a surface to the other. We can say that some of the difficulty we had was to have an experimental test with a homogeneous deposit of particles, and that's quite difficult to do it. And we can also recognize that there are an important role of surface roughness on the adhesive forces. So it's really important to characterize the surfaces and their quality. My last example will show you some data obtained with an individual particle model, which is called a DEM. So this example is an industrial well where there is a cleaning system that should work. The accidental dispersion study of powder is studied here to understand what would happen if the system fall on the sedimentary layer. The particle diameter range between 4 and 20 micrometers. So there we have also a quantitative approach to mitigate the exposure risk of people that would work around this place. And we had to define a strategy to have the right containment solution. So this type of simulation takes several steps to set up the right value for the EM parameters, and also for meshing and transient calculation settings. So we started, as you can see, with a quite simple model with large particles compared to the object falling on the layer. Then we improved our model with smaller particles, as you can see. The color represents the speed of particles. We also had to refine the mesh, and we could do some testing on parameters like the DEM characteristic of particles. Then the objective we completed was to build a full model, a complete model, showing what happens, calculating the airflow at the impact of the object on the bottom, and releasing particles to the top of the the next video will show you how it works. So there is two different scenario here. So there is on the left a low weighing object, which is about 300 kilograms, and on the right the same one but heavier at 3,000 kilograms. Let's start and see what happens. The yellow color is an isosurface of air velocity that can show you the speed of air, the air blown from the impact. And you can see on the left that particles have not the same velocity that on the right. There is more energy on the right. So it's really interesting to compare both ones and see that particles that can escape from the system depends really on the weight. So in this type of study, we really need to break down the study into several parts, and a long quality analysis is required. Simplification of particle size really help in mastering the simulation. And also, we can say that it's difficult to increase rapidly the particle size, to decrease the particle size, because there is a huge impact on the meshing that you need to prepare. As a conclusion, in the domain of clean rooms design, construction and operation, it is noticeable that the trend in international standards may help the growth of simulation usage as an essential tool for efficient and safe clean rooms. As a clean room designer, we wish to use these standards to develop the simulation usage and continue to provide smart solutions for our clients. I would like to thank you for attending to this presentation. Thank you, Hexagon, to this occasion to share and for the nice tools you provide. I'm happy to answer to the question you will ask me on my email address. Have a good day. Thank you.